Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Richards Wilson, and I'm from Alverno College in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a faculty member in the business department, and I'm also the director of the MBA program. My colleague Jerry and I are going to be talking about a project that we worked on with our students in a Women in Leadership course. And I'll leave Jerry to introduce himself after I introduce the project and to tell you more about the software that we used. This project was for an upper division undergraduate course, and it entailed working with a partner, the National Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls, New York. We wanted to include some creativity and imagination and playful podcasting in this project, which was a midterm assessment for the students. And so the students were asked to choose an inductee off the website. We worked with a coordinator at the National Women's Hall of Fame who gave them access to the archival materials and newspaper clippings and any research they had, including obituaries about these very honorable, impressive, inspirational women. Many of them have hidden histories. And so the assignment for the students was to work with a partner, create a podcast, and then we would forward it to the National Women's Hall of Fame in New York. What is great about this project is, similar to other projects at Alverno College, it included a self-assessment at the end. So the students explained what they learned about the inductees, what they learned about themselves, what they learned about leadership, how they were inspired, how they learned to do archival research, how to partner with outside organizations. So they learned a lot about this in addition to the technical skills and the software that my colleague Jerry is going to explain in just a few minutes. The podcast can be found still on the National Women's Hall of Fame website. If you go to their website and put in Alverno College at the top in the search, it goes directly to their podcasts. The podcasts are about 7 to 10 minutes, and some of the inductees are, for example, that they chose Lucille Ball, Eleanor Roosevelt, Wilma Rudolph, Billie Holiday, just to name a few. It is historical, it's fiction, but it's also accurate. And we had the staff from the hall check some of those facts before the podcasts were uploaded. It was a really great project. It was a lot of fun. The students enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with my colleague, Jerry. And we highly recommend that you consider podcasting for a project in the future. It allows the students to imagine, to work together, to learn a new skill that they can take with them. And also it allowed them to be playful. And that's really important nowadays, especially in the world that we live with. There are serious, uncertain consequences and realities going on right now. So any project that you can come up with or think about that encourages play and creativity and collaboration and communication, I'm sure will go a long ways, not only in their skill building, but the skills that they can offer to the workplace and in their future career plans. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Jerry, who can tell you more about what software they use. And I would like to say that when we introduced this project to our students, many of them hadn't heard about the software. So it's really impressive that they learned this, they learned it quickly. And I can't commend my colleague, Jerry, enough for working so patiently with them to bring them up to speed. Because if you go to the Hall's website, you'll see they did a really great job. We're very proud of them. And we encourage you to look at podcasting as an option for future student projects. So with that, I turn it over to Jerry.
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Duchek, and I'm actually the director of the Media Hub at Alverno College. It's our large audiovisual department. We're aligned with IT, but we do all the audiovisual things on campus, all the classroom technology and theater spaces. But we also have several production suites. And I'm also an adjunct faculty where I teach a couple courses in production-related fields, video production, audio production. I'm actually also teaching the online radio station course that we have at the college. So I've got kind of a background in that. And this project was really great because it allowed students who might not have had kind of that technology bend to come in and get their hands on the technology and work with the technology and have a framework in place. So the working with the technology was almost secondary to the research and the thought that they had to put into these podcasts to create, you know, the illusion of these interviews, which was really creative and fun thing for the students to do. The main software that we used for this project was Apple's GarageBand, because we do have a Mac lab. I know some places don't have Mac labs, and there are some other alternate software programs that are out there. And that's the one nice thing about this project is it does adapt across several platforms and depending on your level of resources too. For those of you that might be familiar with the Adobe suites or have access to Adobe's products, Adobe has an audio editor called Audition, which is, again, these are all kind of multi-track audio editors. So Adobe's product is called Audition. And there's also a free product called Audacity that's downloadable, and that's actually dual platform. You can get it on either the Mac or the PC. And in my radio class, I do show the students all of these different products because, I mean, it's great if you have a Mac and you have GarageBand because it's really set up for podcasting, for creating your own music. It's really user-friendly. Adobe's Audition is a little more expensive. You have to pay for the Adobe suite to be able to get that, but it's a very high quality professional broadcaster program that's out there. If you walk into any radio station, you know, or television production area, you're going to find Adobe's Audition. But all of these really share a lot of similarities, where students can connect the microphone to a computer, start recording on a single track, and then if they mess up, they can edit that track, they can move the things around within that track, then they can add another track, and that's where you get these kind of the depth of these podcasts, because it's not just a person talking. You can add the interview questions, you can edit the interviewer questions to go along with the person's answers. You can add sound effects, you can add background music. There's all these kind of things that you can do to enhance these podcasts to make it more enjoyable and more real for the listener. Just a couple things I did want to caution you on though, because with any of these projects, especially if they're going to be made public, you really have to be cognizant of not using copyrighted material. Students don't always have a grasp of, I found it on the internet, so it must be free, or I downloaded it from iTunes, so it's mine. Well, no, that's not really how a lot of things work. That being said, there is an awful lot of free resources and production free resources out on the internet. You just have to look for them and be sure that they're licensed for what you're doing. There's a lot of sound effects. The performer Moby actually has a website called Moby Gratis, where he will actually allow filmmakers to use any of his music catalog. You just have to apply for this license through him, and basically he said he's never denied anybody. As long as you're not using it for commercial use, and even if you are, then he just wants a small portion of whatever that is, and he donates it to, I think, some animal shelter or something. That's at mobygratis.com. And there are other resources. There's sound effects and other type of music tracking. The one nice thing about GarageBand is that it actually has a lot of built-in little musical clips. They're almost like little musical Legos that you can actually build a little song with, or a little background, even if it's just something, you know, during the lead in and the out of the podcast to enhance that podcast. But a lot of students really, you know, got into this and they found music, period music of the time, you know, sounds of the time. I mean, if this was, you know, Annie Oakley, we'd hear sounds of the old West, you know, with the horses and the carriages and things like that. You know, depending what where the person was in history, you know, and that helps the students think too. Oh, what was kind of going on? What were the sights, sounds, and smells of that time period to bring the character more to life, and it brings it more to life for the listener as well. So if anybody has any technical questions on that side of it, you know, how the students put the things together, feel free to ask us. We will be available for questions. I'm sure you could always email us or find us at Alverno College. So that's all I have. So back to Stephanie.
Yeah, this was a great collaboration. We highly recommend it. Thank you for listening and watching. And thank you, Jerry, for all the additional tips. Our students worked with this, enjoyed it, and we highly recommend this project. The project was called Imagine the Conversation, Podcasts at Play. Thanks, everyone.